Hello my friends, SAmaryllis here. I'm going to be playing a short little game called Riba. Riba is made by NB Machine, and NB Machine had made this game for a game jam earlier this year. The premise for this looks like it's an interactive atmospheric experience about fishing your grandma's bones. And it is available in English, Spanish, French, and I'm not sure what this third option is, but this one is also available. So I'm gonna go ahead and go full screen and play English. So it looks like you're this little person, like a bird on their back. And oh, you can grab environment items. Oh, yes. What else can I get? Oh, a rock. Barnacle. Can I drop a rock in the water? No. Okay. This is the arrangement area, I suppose. Oh, okay. The music and the visuals are really nice. Oh, popped. I've caught a blood eel. I don't know if that's a real fish. I don't know super much about fish. I'll have to look up blood eel later. A prune carp. The art style is really lovely. I really like it. And the music's so peaceful too. Oh, a bone. Grandma had been lost for a while before she died from senile dementia, long before we scattered her bones in the river. When the doctors told us what she had, I just thought that she would lose her memories, but I didn't know that she would also lose her ability to be herself and to be present. Oh. Alright. One of my grandmothers had dementia. A cloudfish. Unfortunately, you can see the fish here in the pots. I wasn't very close with my grandmother. Blood eel again. But I know it was really hard for my mom. And that does make sense, right? Like, not only are you losing your memories, but the memories are what made you you. During her last days, she was always smiling, but it was such a strange smile. Forced, halfway between a smile and a grimace, on the verge of bursting into tears. She seemed both full of joy and deeply miserable at the same time, although I doubt she was herself enough for any of these feelings to make sense. A lot of blood eels in this river. I've never gone fishing before either, in real life. Only ever in games like Stardew Valley or Harvest Moon. Fishing seems kind of scary. Because doesn't it mean like the hook and the pole has to like latch into the mouth of a fish? It doesn't sound very comfortable. I don't know what was going through her head in her last moments, but whenever I looked at her in the eyes, I felt that there was no humanity left there for us to say goodbye to. By then, my dad and my grandpa were the ones feeling all the pain that she wasn't fit to know how to feel anymore. Oh, I almost went fishing before I put that down. Ooh, is this a spinal bone? It felt like for every memory that she had lost in the muddy water of her mind, my dad and grandpa would fish them out and treasure for themselves. Ah, I guess that's the theme of this game, huh? During the last days before she passed away, they wouldn't stop telling me stories from when grandma was young. Meanwhile, she would be looking at us with that uncanny smile on her face. I've been reading some memoirs recently, and Mother Blood Eel. I don't remember which book it had been, or maybe it was an article instead. My grandma was a former pro cyclist, and along with my dad, they would often go out on rides together. Since she passed away, my dad goes riding a few times every week and gets super angry if he can't. To be honest, I'm not sure if going out on the bike comforts him or if it just hurts. But whatever I had read had also mentioned a grandparent who had gotten dementia, and maybe it was an article, I don't know, but one night he had stolen the keys to a car, drove out somewhere, and they eventually found him. Grandma was super picky about food. When Grandpa cooked, he had to make double, a meal for everyone and a special meal just for her. He didn't mind. He seemed genuinely happy to be able to spoil her every day. Every time I visit him now, we order takeout. He says that he's too old, that cooking is pointless for the little appetite that he has now. Maybe it wasn't a book. One of the books I read recently was by Caitlin Doughty. She runs a channel called Ask a Mortician on YouTube. And it might have been one of the stories that she had talked about. The book I read was called Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, which is the first book out of 3 that she's written so far. I actually read her books in reverse chronological order. Oh! Are we sure this is Grandma's bones? I guess like with how our character's face is structured, there are also horns there. I was very surprised by this. I believe that Grandma didn't suffer during her last days. Losing her memories only hurt for those around her, since her illness freed her from being aware of what was going on. I keep her memories treasured too, but next to the memories of how my dad and Grandpa are feeling about her loss. This warmth that hurts a little will be with me until I die, or until Grandma's illness takes over me too. I think that's the scary part too, thinking about that. I mean, it probably is genetic Alzheimer's or dementia in general. So I wonder if my mom will have it too, and myself. But back to the books, I really enjoy Caitlin Doughty's books. I really like her YouTube channel too. She's very frank about everything, and I don't know anyone who is a mortician or works at a crematory or a graveyard or cemetery or anything like that. So the way she talks and answers questions very frankly makes me feel a lot calmer about everything. Because we don't talk about death very much in our society, huh? But hearing the stories about her work at the crematory and the families that she's encountered and the people she worked with and the whole kind of education system and the first new job nerves that almost every single young person ever has. Hers just happened to be at a crematory, which is she does have like a bit of humor to the way she tells her stories as well. So I would recommend it. I got her books at my local library, so I know Smoke Gets in Your Eyes has been out for a while, and then the second book that she wrote, which is called From Here to Eternity, is less of a memoir and more, well, I guess it still includes her personal experiences, but it focuses more on death rituals in different cultures, which I found very interesting as well. And then her third book, which is the most recent one, is Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs? And the whole premise of that book is answering questions from children that she gets like when she went on her previous book tours. And I mean, they're questions that I never got the answers to either. So it's written in a very gentle and understanding and caring way. So I would highly recommend that book as well. Her first book is definitely more intense, I would say, than her other two, and maybe that's just, you know, your very first book. You have something that you want to say. I think this might be all of Grandma's Bones. I don't know. I'm getting a lot of fish in a row. And in the first bones that we fished up, didn't it say that we scattered the bones in the river? Is there a reason why I'm fishing them back out? I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, her first book is quite a bit more intense. It has a lot more of her personal experiences in it and how she's feeling. I think I'm gonna stop fishing. To move you up. And I guess, like, as a content warning, if you are thinking of reading this book, which I would still highly recommend, there is like suicide ideation in it for a moment, and obsessive compulsive tendencies as well, which is kind of interesting because another book that I had read somewhat recently was about obsessive compulsive disorder. It was called The Man Who Couldn't Stop, I think, and I'll be honest, I didn't really enjoy that book. Just the way that it was written, it felt very difficult to follow. It was like a strange mix of like the author's personal experiences with OCD, as well, like scattered with very, very small and shallow examples of other types of OCD that are in the world. And I can understand partially why that would happen, because I don't think even today the disease is very well understood in terms of any mental disorder, rather. So to me it felt just kind of frustrating to read, because like he would spend one paragraph talking about like one thing, and then immediately the next paragraph he'd come up with another example, and none of them really felt like there was like a sense of closure, I guess. It was just like, oh, and this person had OCD because this happened to them, and this person developed it because of this, and this was their obsession. But I mean, I think it's a good, maybe like introductory book, especially if you're someone who isn't sure that what they have is OCD. One of the statistics mentioned in the book is that people with OCD take a really long time to even seek help and acknowledge it in themselves. I think they said something about like it takes an average of 7 to 10 years before like they get help. But I will say the portion in the book about what was it? Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, where the author finally did get help. I really enjoyed reading that chapter. Unfortunately, it was closer to the end of the book. And there's also good resources in the book at the very end. Like it comes with like a sample letter for like to print out and give to your doctor if like you need help but you don't know how to ask for it or how to word it. So I think those two things were the best things about that book. Oh, I can't pick up that leaf. Okay. Yeah, it was just kind of interesting that I had ended up reading that book as well as the one from Caitlin, which did also describe how she developed a disorder when she was very young because of something traumatic she had seen while she was out at the mall with her parents. I think just her dad. But overall, I really like the way that Caitlin writes. I hope I'm not making it sound scarier than it is. She has a really, really genuine way of communicating and making funny phrases, even to describe maybe some non-standard things. But anyway, I don't know if there's anything else we can do in this game. Oh yeah, can't interact with the bird either. I don't think I can do anything with the fish. I don't know if I'm planning to eat these fish or just collecting them, but this is the game Riba, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you have a good day. Remember to be kind to yourself and to others. Bye bye!